This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. Today, we are going to journey into the mind of a narcissist. Who are these people? What are they thinking? What motivates them? What happened in the past that created this sense of narcissism? It's a cliche. She wrote the book. She did write a few of them about this subject and how it can be abusive. And you might not even really see the signs that you're connected in a relationship with a narcissist. She's been through many journeys there and has so much insight. She is Sherry Canino, and she's back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm well, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic and intrigued to learn more here because I got an idea in our conversations, the, I guess, personality profile of a narcissist and, what the fronts that they put up and all of that, but we've never really gone deep into what makes them tick, so to speak. Where should we begin?
Well, I thought it would be helpful to people who are trying to get on their healing journey and to actually remove the narcissistic introject in their minds. If we kind of help them understand, like, what's really going on in the narcissist's mind and to understand that it actually has nothing to do with us.
Hmm. Where where do we begin in the narcissist's mind? Like if let's say, I don't know, maybe we'll role play. Like you're thinking something and you're a narcissist. We'll pretend. Um, like what are you thinking on an average
Well,
basis?
first, one thing you have to understand is that they actually take everything literally, right? So if you try to be, I'm Sagittarius, so I'm very sarcastic. I mean, that's kind of the way that I show love to people. Like I joke around, they can't take jokes. They don't get them. So when you try to play around a little bit, they take it literal and they're going to take it as a narcissistic injury and they're going to take it as an attack on them.
Hmm.
So their whole defense mechanism, I mean, that's what it is. It's a defense mechanism. It's set up and it's based on huge fear of survival and abandonment. So when you take like a baby, like if a baby cries, it's known that the mom is supposed to pick it up and feed it, right? Or the caretaker, or check and see, like, what does it need? What does the baby need? Like, that's the baby's cry for attention, is because it has needs that are not being met.
Hmm.
So, when you were talking about a narcissist, they've never individuated. So a lot of their behaviors stem from exactly how we were as children. So they're like a grown child. Some of it's, trying to get attention, but it's attention in their minds as survival. So if somebody doesn't see me, I'm going to die. So, like you and I, we've individuated from our parents. We understand that there's people on the exterior. We are not just inside somebody's mind, and we can understand, like, you have your own thoughts and your own feelings, and you're independent of me.
Hmm.
So when you give me your opinion, I don't have to agree with it, but does it hurt my feelings? Like, okay, cool. We can agree to disagree, right? No. A narcissist views you as a part of them. So everything is about them. There is no you. So when everybody thinks the narcissist is being abusive to them, they're not. They're being abusive to themselves. You don't exist. You are an avatar in their mind, a screenshot, but you're an extension of them. My ex used to tell me all the time, and I'd be like, why are you being so cruel to me? And, I did what I don't recommend people do, but I did. I used to pick his mind because inquiring minds want to know. And I just, like, I didn't care. At one point, I didn't care how bad it got because I had to know, like, what is going on? And he used to say to me, don't you get it? I'm not hurting you, hurting me. It literally is all about them. They they have so much guilt and shame, and when they have a narcissistic injury from somebody on the outside, which you don't exist to them, reality doesn't exist. And when reality tries to peek in, it causes them to react in a way that they become abusive. But the abuse is actually internal.
So I want to look at that closer. How are they hurting themselves when they're hurting you?
Because there is no you. There
Hmm.
is no you. You don't exist. It's just them. When they idealize you, it it's like, I don't know if I could say like a figment of their imagination, but kind of. So they pretend that all the great things about you are them. They're things that they wanted to be, things that they wish they could have been.
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
they see themselves. Imagine a baby. When a baby is born, it only sees itself through the mother's eyes. It doesn't know that it's not part of the mom. It has no idea.
So would somebody who's a narcissist pick as a partner somebody who has a lot of qualities that they don't have? For example, let's say the narcissist is kind of an introvert, doesn't really, do a lot of stuff, but meets somebody who's a little more extroverted. Always, has a good friend base, likes hanging out, likes doing fun stuff. So that narcissist is almost vicariously living through that person. That's what they want. They want to be that person. And so,
Yes.
so in a way, they are.
Yes. But remember, we pick them. They don't pick us. I mean, certainly they're not going to accept our invitation, if you will.
Unless it aligns with what they're
If,
looking for.
yes, yes. But, and those are the lucky ones. But, um, yes, they, and that's why, as an individual, you lose yourself because you become the narcissist. They become you, they swallow you up. All your good attributes, you know, not the bad ones. So that leads me into kind of projection and what I think a lot of people don't understand about projection, right? So again, it's still at themselves, but it's a part of themselves that they have created that's you. So there's that picture of you in their mind. It's still them, but it allows them to project what they don't like about themselves onto that inanimate object, if you will, so that they don't have to carry it.
Would they have been looking for you anyway? Like, for example, the introvert, the extrovert kind of model, if you want to look at that, just hypothetically thinking. Um, They were waiting for you to show up. And you did, because they wouldn't have taken your invitation. And let's say you're somebody that's confident. They're not really that confident, but they see that in you, so that I want that. That feels good. I like that. Um, it seems that they're. It's almost like, you ever hear of energy vampires, where they just suck your energy. They find, I need that. I'm gonna grab that over there. Um,
Yes.
you're fulfilling their fantasy in some ways.
So the way that Professor Sam Vaknin explains it is there is no them. There's there's no ego, so they don't exist. They aren't an individual. They're just an empty black hole. So unless they can see themselves through your eyes, just like a baby would, they don't know they exist, right? So what does a baby do? A baby cries until the mom picks it up and fulfills a need that the baby has. And
Hmm.
then the baby is satisfied. If if you do not fulfill that baby's need, what does the baby do? It continues to cry. So it continues to do something to get attention. That's exactly what the narcissist does. And so they will put themselves in positions, in places where they know they can get attention. And
Hmm.
they think that everybody else thinks the way that they do. Just the way that we don't understand the way their messed up mind works. We only believe, until we encounter something really out there, that everybody thinks the way that we do. We believe, oh, Steve must have empathy because I do. Until I see otherwise, and then I don't understand it. And then I'm like, why? Why doesn't this person have empathy? Why isn't he showing it?
Hmm.
Which really leads me into they absolutely, the more you show a narcissist love, the more you're going to get abused. They hate it. If you're mean to them, they're probably going to be a lot nicer to you. There's even some of those self aware narcissists online that are like, if you're not a little mean to me, I'll drop you so fast.
Wow. Is Do you feel, in your experience and looking at all of this, that they're born? They might not be born that way, but they're born into it. For example, going back to what you said before, let's say their parents didn't show them love, didn't give them the attention they needed. Maybe their parents were great, but this child needed more and didn't get it. Mom and dad are working, a lot, whatever it might be. And that's at the stage for the neediness of attention. And then that continued later in life. Things weren't validated. Let's say even their friends didn't give them a like because they're introverted. I'm going hypothetical again.
Right.
Is that where that could have turned into a narcissist?
Oh, absolutely. Letting a baby cry it out. Babies don't cry just for the sake of crying.
Hmm.
They cry because that's the only way to get their needs met. So, all the parent and I'm not this was a thing. My mom used to tell me to do this to my baby and I was like, I can't. I can't handle, dogs and animals and babies. I'm like super soft with. So I'm like, I can't, it really hurts my heart to hear a baby cry. Like I'm almost to the point where I'm like, I'll go pick up somebody else's baby, which is probably not a good idea. I'm like, I can't listen to it cry. So
I get you. I'm right there. And the empathy thing, I'm laughing inside because I am empathetic. Even to the point I could be watching a movie, and I'm afraid to admit it, but sometimes I'm like, I get teary, like, or if somebody's being hurt, or this just, it's almost like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch that. It's just like,
yep.
no, that's it. Ew, that hurts. I'm feeling it, like you're
Mhm.
feeling, the baby, like you just want
Yes.
to, pacify, make him feel better.
Right. So that's a perfect example of what narcissists don't have. And so when you're a couple of things, so when you're showing empathy, they think it's weakness.
Mhm.
When they also don't believe it, they think everybody is like them. They also don't believe it when you're nice. They use it as a manipulation tool to get their needs met, to get what they need, what they want. And so when you're nice, I used to have my ex used to say that to me all the time. Why are you being nice to me? What do you want?
Mm.
I'm like, dude, I'm a nice person.
Right.
What the,
What's the
you know?
catch? Come on, Sherry. What's the catch?
Yeah, exactly. But that's how their minds work. And so we can't fathom that because we were never, we didn't have to develop those protection mechanisms. We weren't, I mean, I was abused, but maybe I wasn't abused. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't abused enough. I don't know what the word is, but to the point where my body would have caused me to dissociate so much and turn to fantasy
Hmm.
because that was the only place that felt safe. And, believe me, I'm not here saying, like, oh, who cares about the victims and what they do to them? But people really forget this is a mental illness. Nobody wakes up one morning and chooses narcissism, right?
Now you coach, you've written books, deep insight on a lot, but especially this particular topic. If somebody is listening or watching and they're they're feeling that this is matching the personality profile of the person that they're with, what's your initial suggestion?
Go no contact, leave. And you don't have to know without a shadow of doubt that the person is a narcissist because if they're toxic, if they're hurting your feelings, if you're not happy in the relationship, if they won't talk things out and you've tried, why do you need to know if they would be diagnosed or not, whether you're going to leave?
Now, what if you're married and let's say you're 10 years in, 5 years in, and it's just been brewing and you know, you, many people say, I don't like confrontation. I'm just deal with it, put it, sweep it under the rug. But now you've got roots. Um, kids, is there a way of dealing with a narcissist, or in your experience, nothing's going to change? So be ready for the ride, the ride into the future, um, or make a change.
So, I mean, I get that often, I'm trying to leave and I can't. And I fully understand it, but it's a choice. You do have to make the choice and you're going to have to, and when people say, I'm staying for the kids, and I do refer them back to, my situation with my son's biological father and how he did not get visitation. He did not get custody. He did not get anything because he ended up in the courts getting diagnosed as a narcissist. And the psychologist was like, it's more harm than good for the kid to be in contact with the parent. And I fully agree. Now, I don't make decisions for my clients or anybody else out there. You have to choose what
Yep.
you want to choose, but it's mostly that they're trauma bonded and they've been brainwashed into thinking that you can't live without them.
Yep.
But in all actuality, you are living alone. You are doing it alone. They're
And
just a
if
body that's there.
and if
Sorry.
and somebody's dealing with that, how many times have people said in relationships, Feel like roommates. Just they do their thing, I do my thing. Is there
That would be a good scenario for a narcissist if that would be the best scenario you could get.
is there a way to change this? You've got somebody, you're deep into a life with them. I guess the question is, can they change? Um, Part of me here is saying to myself, no, because the only thing change only happens with awareness. If they're not aware of what they're doing, admit it, understand it. Yeah, somebody could have a split personality. Somebody could have many different mental uh, illnesses or diagnosis that somebody could have where they would admit this sounds like they don't admit it. They're not it's not going to happen. What do you
The
think?
person has to want to change. And do I, I mean, if they could actually be diagnosed as a narcissist can't change. They can't go back to childhood and individuate from the mom.
Right.
So the cycle they're repeating is compulsory and it will continue. The only thing they can do is learn to manage the behaviors. But just like all of us, if your go to protection mechanism for yourself that you grew up in, your trauma response is fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, when push comes to shove in a real tense situation, you're going to choose your trauma response. They are too, and it's narcissism. So you have to decide, do you want to live like that the rest of your life? Is that person worth it? Professor Sam Vaknin, professor of psychology, been studying narcissism for, I don't know, 29, 30 years, is a diagnosed narcissist himself. He says, don't waste your love on a narcissist because there's nobody there. They'll never love you. There's nobody inside. They're empty hole.
It's a hard one to swallow, especially again, you're in a relationship and 10 years have gone by. It wasn't the best situation. I'm not faulting anybody. Been there, I get it. Um, but now, you might be hearing this thinking, oh, now it's clear that, box checked on that one, box checked on that one. Oh, was thinking narcissist. I wasn't, now I'm 100% sure. Wow. Um, Pretty heavy stuff. Uh, I wondered where this was going to go today. I feel like I have a better understanding as we went into the mind of a narcissist. This is what you help people with, and through the books, through the coaching. If we go to your website, is it all there? Even can we even find ways to get the books too?
Yes. And I mean, the books are also on Amazon, but I also have um, a page on there for like resources, videos, different things so that, people can kind of start, on their own to see where they want to go, if they
Yeah.
want some free knowledge and stuff. But I guess my takeaway from all of this is a couple of things. If it's a relationship, an intimate relationship, if the person's willing to actually genuinely listen and try, you're going to know and you're going to see it. And they're probably not a narcissist. If they're not, you got to make a decision if you want to stay living in that. And sometimes we just don't get along, right? Or we've tried and we can't. And maybe the person's toxic, maybe they're not. But at the end of the day, if the person is highly narcissistic or is a narcissist, remember that it's not you.
Yeah.
This is their deal, what they got going on.
The wake up call here is you don't exist. Never realized that was one of the traits where they don't even see you. It's like an avatar, or this is the perfect scenario for the narcissist. They take what they need and want that feeds them, but you could be anybody that is providing them what they were looking for. Wow. What's your website?
Soulfullywild.com.
Thank you for today. As always, so much insight. And I'm sure a lot of us are going to be even just thinking about the people in our world, and maybe they might be a narcissist. I don't know. Um, Thank you. And we'll catch up soon. Okay.
Thanks, Steve. Sounds good. Thank
Appreciate
you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.